let's have a look at the global medical response, the GMR track facts. This one is a tough one. It's physically demanding. Think about this, folks. These 23 drivers did 170 miles yesterday. This undulating track that really is physically taxing. They've rested. They've tried to rehydrate, recuperate, and they're ready to do it all again. This is the 11th round of the 14-round 2020 NTT IndyCar Series. Two youngsters on the front row. Colton Herta on the left in the green and white car is the youngest to ever win in IndyCar, and he's ready to go, but he's got a 5-time champion trying to find an inside line in Scott Dixon.
Ferrucci and Palou on the right-hand side of your screen as Dixon goes up the inside, backs out, look at Ferrucci trying to shoot around the outside. Off of the grass.
He's not going to be able to come right out into traffic. He caused a big accident.
Took out his teammate.
Coming, that's unbelievable.
And Rosenquist, Felix Rosenquist was in that. That's the blue and black car at the top of the hill.
Oh.
So both Dale Coyne cars that had their best combined starting positions ever in IndyCar. They collide on the opening lap. That's Felix Rosenquist of Chip Ganassi Racing.
Heck of a start by Scott Dixon. He got the jump, Townsend, and was able to almost get alongside Colton Herta, but then got blocked a little bit, had to get on the brakes, but cycled out of that in second place with this accident. So good start for Scott Dixon, full championship leader.
Full course yellow is out as the AMR safety team comes to remove that track banner from Rosenquist's car. Damage to the left rear. And I think that decision for Scott Dixon to back out in the first corner
was wise.
is exactly why Scott Dixon is a 5-time champion and looking very good for a 6. Watch this. Ferrucci tries to hold the position. Herta didn't give much room, but then Ferrucci comes from the grass right back on and then just ping-pongs off his teammate Alex Palou and Rosenquist.
Certainly Herta didn't leave him very much room at all, just kind of pushed out and then out in the grass. It rained so hard this morning, it's still wet, and you're just on for a ride. Hunter Ray here makes an outside move and pulls it off.
Palou's up ahead.
Simon Pagenaud gives him the room, so picked up a bunch of spots, up to third.
Just a massive hip check from Ferrucci. I'm not even sure he would have known that that was Palou. Probably just felt a tap from behind, so he'll continue probably without damage. We'll have to see how the right rear of that number 18 Sealmaster car is, but a lot of drama on the first lap.
I know I heard it did at the start. He went, I was on the inside, then he was going to run me right into the grass.
Well, we raced with him yesterday. We understand what he does. Let's just be patient with him.
Well, they raced all day yesterday and had an incident yesterday. Scott Dixon ran into the back of Colton Herta coming onto the back straightaway. So this battle continues today, and the 18 we hear is getting a penalty for avoidable contact.
And the contact was with this young guy here, first year driver. That's Alex Palou of Spain. That's his teammate within the Dale Coyne Racing organization. Here is the penalty he will serve. He'll have to go to the back of the field. What a shame, his teammate is out of the race. We told you that the rain that happened overnight and in the early hours of this morning would have an impact on this race, and it has, because when you leave the racing surface here at Mid-Ohio, so much grass area and dirt area, runoff area, that when it's sodden, you've got no chance of stopping, and that's what happened to Santino Ferrucci. Here's James Hinchcliffe.
Yeah, I just chatted with Dale Coyne asking if Alex Palou was terminal. He said no, they got a bent wishbone, they're going to take it back to the garage, but the plan is to get it fixed and try to get the 55 back on track.
A really talented driver, this guy, Alex Palou of Spain. He might be a rookie, but he's already been on the podium in the NTT IndyCar Series. He's learnt the craft of oval racing. This is his natural playground, road courses, and you can see the disappointment. It is evident and obvious.
Devastating for Palou, for the team. They go from their best ever starting position to probably their worst in 2 corners here, Paul.
Yeah, and the worst part about it is it's with your teammate. He was really just an innocent bystander. He was just threading his way through there. Santino was in the grass and was out of control, and then just came back into the track, and he was there. And look at the start.
Once Ferrucci's off in the grass, there's not much he can do except trying to nurse it back on the track from a wet set of grass.
Outside with Palou.
And you're just at this point, Ferrucci, okay, I'm off on the grass. All he's doing is saving it. There's no throttle, no anything, just off the brakes trying to drive it back on. But his bed was made trying to run too wide with Colton Herta, which a lot of people did yesterday. But Colton very aggressive about defending, as you heard from Scott Dixon.
All right, let's get ready to go. You've got the youngest to ever win an IndyCar race and the best in the modern era in Scott Dixon. And I don't think Scott Dixon cares too much for how Colton Herta's driven him the last couple of days. This is going to be a fascinating duel. Back to racing here at Mid-Ohio.
I think Dixon has to be impressed, though, with just how quick and aggressive Colton Herta was in the final corner, sliding all over in that 88 car to try to get tire temp for these opening couple corners.
A little further back, Dalton Kellett, the rookie, scrapping there with Max Chilton in the Gallagher Chevrolet, the blue car. There's Connor Daly going right around the outside in the US Air Force Chevy.
The outside line has been working pretty well. Dalton Kellett comes back on Max Chilton, but Scott Dixon now just settling in. He's a master of making fuel mileage, so he knows that on reds right now, probably the best thing to do is just try to sit there with Colton Herta and save some fuel.
At this Honda Indy 200, the top 4 cars are powered by Honda. Best Chevrolet is Simon Pagenaud in 5th, making up from a frustrating day yesterday where he crashed on the opening lap.
So just talking about tire strategy, there's 2 available compounds, the primary black Firestone tire and the alternate red tire. The red tire, a softer compound, probably quicker for the first few laps, but might not last in performance as long as the primary black tire. But yesterday, Paul, I'd have to say the red tire is the one everybody seemed to want to be on for just outright pace.
It certainly were, but we've had a lot of rain overnight and into this morning, so the track has changed quite a bit from yesterday. They've lost a little bit of rubber on the track, so this track is a little bit green. It's going to take a little bit of while to come in.
There's a couple of guys making up from qualifying crashes. The AutoNation Sirius XM car, that pink and black car for Meyershank Racing, an Ohio-based team. Jack Harvey spun and damaged the back of the car. The team did a terrific job to get it fixed. Pato O'Ward also spun and got beached in the gravel trap. So 2 young drivers, 2 talented young drivers making their way back through the field. None better so far than this man, though. Marcus Ericsson up 8 positions from his starting spot.
Slipping and sliding there. VK, super aggressive. VK challenging Newgarden. They almost touched wheels. This kid is really aggressive, leading the Rookie of the Year championship handily, and he's trying to make another move.
We're under the second full course caution here in the Mid-Ohio 200, and there's a scramble for pit lane because they're in the fuel window. Race leader at the stage of the yellow, Colton Herta, gets out. He beats Scott Dixon out, and we believe that it is actually we're still green. So it appears though Dalton Kellett of AJ Foyt Racing is stuck. There he is, but no yellow. My apologies, no yellow just yet. Now it comes.
I think they wanted to leave the pits open so that nobody was caught out. Ferrucci had just come to pit lane, and I thought he was going to luck out, but race control doing the fair thing, keeping the pits open because no safety issue in turn 1 with all cars coming to pit lane. There's Ferrucci.
It's the fastest corner on the track. Ferrucci's in turn 1, and you'll see Dalton Kellett on the outside over here. Got a little wide and ended up over in the gravel trap right there. So you see right here, loses it early and beached into the gravel. So that is the fastest turn on this track. It's about 135-40 miles an hour with this downforce level.
This was Ferrucci who ducked in as soon as that happened. Now what they're hoping for here is that the pits close right away with the full course yellow, which would mean that they would cycle to the front when everybody pits under yellow. But again, race control left the track green and the pits open. This was close, Hinch.
Traffic jam.
It's always going to be tight in this kind of situation, guys. And so this is what the situation we're looking at. They saw Dalton Kellett go off.
No fuel, finished tires.
No fuel with the 5 car. A little bit of a hold up there. Usually a very quick crew. But what the 18 were trying to do, they were trying to preempt the yellow. They were hoping they were going to get into pit lane before the yellow flag came out, which then would force everyone else to come into the pits and would cycle the 18 all the way back up to the front. Now, with the car being off in a safe location, very likely no injury to the driver, no immediate concern to the driver, IndyCar made the decision, since we were just inside the pit window, to leave the pits open for a lap. That allowed everybody to come in, get that first service done without really compromising anybody's race. Now, that does open up some options for some other guys, but right now, everyone's pitted. This is going to be a very long second and third stint now for how early these guys had to pit.
Well, all of the front runners, Hinch, have pitted, except Takuma Sato, the Indianapolis 500 winner from this year, and Marco Andretti.
It's also good to see these remaining races on the schedule. The Harvest GP back at Indianapolis on the road course, doubleheader there. And then St. Petersburg, Florida, the race that was supposed to start our 2020 season will now close out the year.
Okay, Sato, Marco Andretti, the Indy 500 pole sitter. So you got the pole sitter and the winner in the top two positions. And then you've got Colton Herta, also from the Andretti group. Andretti, Harding, Steinbrenner racing in that green and white car. Top two cars have not yet pitted. You'll see the difference between new tyres and not, more than likely. But of course, Sato and Andretti on a lighter, lower fuel load. Here we go.
Hot tires, cold tires. Front two cars have got used hot tires, a little bit less fuel, like you said, but these guys will get up to temp quick.
On board with Ryan Hunter-Reay in the DHL Honda for Andretti Autosport. Looking ahead at Scott Dixon and Colton Herta.
He's got a nice run on Dixon. Excellent exit.
The pass is on. He's drafting up now. Dixon will protect the inside, make him go the long way around. He's side by side. Dixon super late on the brakes.
This is where Ferrucci got in trouble.
Contact. Wow, you don't often see Scott Dixon get rough with guys like that.
And Alexander Rossi, teammate to Hunter-Reay in that Napa car, sneaks through to pick up a position.
Those two were fighting it out yesterday, being Hunter-Reay and Rossi. Rossi wanted desperately to get by his teammate. He wanted a shot at Joseph Newgarden and Will Power, but it happened too late.
Rossi has the bit between his teeth. He knows on reds at the start of this stint, this is his opportunity to get by Dixon, who's on the harder black compound tire. So Rossi will be all over Dixon the next several corners.
You got Colton Herta just in front, then Rossi, then Hunter-Reay. They are all teammates. These are Andretti cars attacking Scott Dixon.
In the background, Simon Pagenaud, the red and white car, is Marcus Ericsson. He's made up another spot. Then Graham Rahal, then Joseph Newgarden and Will Power. Rinus VeeKay, Oliver Askew, the red, the yellow car there. This is Charlie Kimball fighting it out with Pato O'Ward.
Pato O'Ward got down the inside, pushed Charlie a little bit wide. Now Charlie has one of his team cars. I think it's his teammate next to him there. Up front now, Graham Rahal leading this pack. He's kind of lost touch with those front four cars.
And Rossi just got by Scott Dixon. There it is. Rossi made a move, I think, going into turn 4. Let's watch again. Rossi drafting up deep on the brakes with authority. He knows that Scott Dixon has to protect his championship lead. And smart, aggressive driving from Rossi, taking advantage of the nothing-to-lose mentality that Rossi has this season against Scott Dixon Hinch, who has to protect.
Yeah, it almost looked like Scott went a little bit deep into turn 4 here, but what's important to remember as well, Colton Herta and Scott Dixon.
Oh!
No, Scott Dixon spins. A very rare mistake. He goes around out of turn 1. It looks like he'll keep it running, guys.
That is a hugely pivotal moment in this championship.
Don't get stuck in the mud over there and get high centered, but he's got it going. He got loose at the apex of the corner. It took a big wiggle, got the curb, lost it, but had the wherewithal to get the clutch in and keep that thing going. But that has put him all the way to the back of the field.
So uncharacteristic for Scott Dixon, the 5-time series champion. VeeKay and Power, a couple of Chevrolet drivers going at it here.
And the points lead now has dropped to 64 points. It's shrunk big time.
And you know Joseph Newgarden will get an update on the radio from Team Penske to tell him Dixon just spun and he's at the back of the field.
Here it is again, going through turn 1.
Got wiggled and then he got on the curb, and there's mud on the backside of the curb there, Townsend, and he just flat out lost it.
Wide of the apex.
Look at the mud on the windscreen. That'll be on Hunter-Reay's windshield as well. So
I'm sure Hunter-Reay is in shock seeing Scott Dixon make such a rare mistake.
The other issue now is those tires will be flat spotted as well, so that's also going to cause him problems.
Graham Rahal got a little frustrated with Simon Pagenaud yesterday. He couldn't get by him, and that kind of upset his strategy. And here we go again. 24 hours later, he's still working on Pagenaud.
He's going to get him now, I think, but Pagenaud late on the brakes. Look at the glowing brake rotors.
Once
super
again,
clean pass.
See the advantage of the red tires early on in the stint against the harder blacks that Pagenaud's on. So Rahal with more grip, more pace, and pulls away.
as we ride on board with Alexander Rossi in the Napa Auto Nation Honda for Andretti Autosport. This is a race that the drivers circle on their calendar in the off-season to be physically prepared for. It is so fast. Oh no,
Marco!
And in turn one.
Marco goes flying off the road, gets it through the gravel, but this is an opportunity for these guys now. These Andretti cars have been running so well right now. They're looking at sweeping a podium if they can keep their cars on the track. So Herta now, Rossi, Hunter-Reay running second, third, and fourth, but that was wild stuff.
Between that and Scott Dixon's mistake in turn one, these are two drivers that rarely do that as Dixon enters the frame behind Marco. Marco simply dropped the right sides off just enough on turn-in to have a huge moment.
Comes out right in front of Scott Dixon, who had almost similar fortune there, but he spun backwards. Dixon gets a run down the back straightaway, makes a clean pass on Marco, but this race
Pit this lap, Marco. Pit. We'll get you 4 black. You want any wing change?
There it is again. Up to turn one.
It went loose right on entry. Townsend, it turned sideways, and that was a great save to not get it stuck in the gravel.
Scott Dixon comes in.
Kelly Stavis is there. Take it away, Kel.
Yeah, and after we saw Scott Dixon go looped around, he said that those tires felt like they were square, but they kept him out there as long as they could to not get too far off the strategy. But you see those are sticker red Firestone tires now going on for the 5-time champ.
And you will see Dixon come in again. He cannot make it to the end with 44 laps to go in this race. A highly unusual day, a highly unusual weekend really, because starting 17th yesterday is not normal for Scott Dixon. He made up tremendous ground by finishing 10th and then caught in a fierce scrap. He qualified a lot better today. Here's Sato finally after some 32 laps out there.
And Diff, the task for Takuma Sato on this alternate strategy, the team told him he had to race like heck and open up as big a gap as he could. At one point, it was about 5.5 seconds over the pole sitter, Colton Herta. They ended up leaving him out 1 extra lap. Those are sticker Firestone red tires, the alternate tires going on. He asked for half a turn more wing, and they make the adjustment there, 7.7 for Takuma Sato.
Fill it up with Speedway fuel, and off goes the MyJack Honda driver. So we'll see how this works out in the end for Takuma Sato. Long way to go.
Here comes the leader.
What a run from Colton Herta. James, take it away.
Last time Colton Herta sat on pole at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, he converted it into a win. It's looking stellar so far as he gets the capstone car in on his marks, as Ryan Hunter-Reay does as well. Red Firestones going on the number 88 Honda. Black Firestones going on the 28. A very quick stop from the capstone car. Colton Herta is away. Ryan Hunter-Reay right behind him. Clean stops from the Andretti Autosport crews all across the top 3.
Where is Rossi? There he is.
Here he comes. It's going to be a drag race to turn 2. This is going to be close.
I think he's going to get
tires. Hot tires for Rossi, and he sweeps back by. So
what about Graham? Here comes Graham. Hunter-Reay on cold tires. Graham on hot tires.
That's Sato right
Sorry,
there.
Sato. My bad. Graham's leading the race. That's Graham's teammate Sato now on Hunter-Reay.
Last lap for Rahal, a 109.7. He's gone a half a second quicker than what he was running. He's trying to do the overcut. We'll see how many laps he stays out, but if it goes yellow, that will really hurt him. So he's got to come here. He's laid out, it looks like.
9.7, Paul's about a second quicker than what Rossi and Hunter-Reay were doing, and Herta. So Graham had been saving fuel. You talked about it. Here he comes. Hot into the box, but just perfect. 4 tires going on.
And
Blacks.
If he had been saving fuel, a shorter stop, there it is. Go, Graham Rahal in the 5th Third Bank Honda. How's it going to work out on the cycle, Kel?
We see the 2 Team Penske's Chevys coming to pit road for gold. Joseph Newgarden in that blue number 1 and his teammate Will Power behind them. They are going to be sticker Firestone red tires going on to potentially finish this out. Joseph Newgarden was just losing a little bit of grip. Will Power, by the way, has radio issues, so he hasn't been able to talk much to his team.
I think Graham got out in front of these guys. This is the Penske trio right here, but Graham Rahal's up the road, and I believe that he might have slid himself into 3rd right now, it looks like.
Graham Rahal's battling Ryan Hunter-Reay on the back straightaway. Rahal to the outside.
Check this out. Top speed down to turn 4. Hunter-Reay versus Rahal. So Colton Herta is out in front of these guys. There he is, just saw him at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, Sato, what are you doing? You still have one more stop.
That's teammate on teammate.
Sato and Scott Dixon right there, but they still have to make another stop. Graham Rahal battling for a podium position, has a big moment out of the final step-off corner there.
So everything pretty much stayed status quo through the pit stops with the undercut and overcut. Herta, Rossi, Monterey.
Sato goes for pit lane. That was close.
Okay, Takuma's in, Dixon's behind you.
And Dixon stayed out. So, Colton Herta, Alexander Rossi. This is Scott Dixon making on Graham Rahal.
I have never seen Scott Dixon take so many risks in my career. Do you think he's feeling the pressure?
Well,
Is he?
no, he's not for position.
He's got to stop again.
It is for position as he runs right now, but he has to make another stop. So critical that Graham Rahal gets that information to protect the top 5 position that Graham's working right now. But you're right, Paul. Scott Dixon got to be furious with the mistake he made earlier and doing everything he can to claw back those precious points.
You'll see a smattering of campers and fans here. It's just delightful to have the fans back. Capped at 6,000 spectators. That was the same for yesterday's opening leg of this doubleheader as well. As 21-year-old Colton Herta continues to steer the way. And if you look at the progressive lap leaders chart, bottom of that graphic, he's led 36 of the laps thus far. And the two Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan drivers leading on that caution and the pit stop rotation. But it's been Herta's day from pole position. He's been the dominant car. This really laid-back Californian who thoroughly enjoys being part of a band with his mates. He's the drummer in the band Zibs and doesn't say a whole lot, leaves his talking for on track, and he's determined, he's aggressive, he's decisive.
He's the new guy in the team, and certainly Rossi does not want to be taking the throne away from being the team leader as he continues to push these tires. These reds hinge hard, and I gotta feel if you push too hard early, like you say, you're gonna pay the piper in the end. And I think that last 5 laps, if you run out of tires, you could be in trouble.
I mean, it's still 21 laps to go. We saw last year with the way that Scott Dixon, had to finish on those reds. He was very, very low on grip at the end of that race, just hanging on to it. And I'm looking at the gap here.
Take care of the tires.
There you go. The message from the crew, take care of the tires. 2.7, 2.8 second gap. He doesn't need to be setting fast laps and personal bests right now. He just needs to manage that gap to Alexander Rossi and make sure he's got a little bit left in the tank for those last 5 laps like you take, Paul.
James, it's been too long since Paul and I drove an IndyCar around Mid-Ohio. Just explain how you take care of the tires. What can you do as a driver in the cockpit to protect the wear rate?
That's a great question, Townsend. So when you're trying to take care of these Firestones, it's all about not putting any slip angle into the front tire. So if you're turning that tire like we're watching Alexander Rossi right now, you don't want to add too much lock and make the tire work too hard. When you're exiting the corner, you don't want to get on the power too early and create wheel spin. Wheel spin just wears that rubber right off the tire. So there's definitely things you can do as drivers with your hands and with your feet to help take care of it. And right now, a lot of these guys are saving fuel. They're having to hit a number, being forced to pit on lap 15 with that yellow coming out for Dalton Kellett. Made these 2 stints very long, so they're hitting a fuel save number. That's actually going to naturally back up your driving a little bit and help take care of the tires. So they're in a good position right now. They just got to be smart, especially this guy right here, Colton Herta.
Scott Dixon, known for making all the right decisions at the right time, as you see the points as they run right now. But it's been a really wild weekend for Dixon. I mean, this would have been the racetrack that anybody in the series would have pointed to and said, hey, 6-time winner here at Mid-Ohio, Dixon's going to absolutely clean house. It's been anything but that from a championship point standpoint as Dixon's trying to recover, maybe try to get himself into the top 10.
And the reason why this is such a big deal, folks, is the driver of the PNC Bank Honda, the orange car there. He is going for his 6th IndyCar title. There's only one other driver in history who's accomplished that, and that is A.J. Foyt.
Got to run here on Jack Harvey again. See if he can make this move. If this pass will get him within 3 positions of Joseph Newgarden, and it's a clean one. So he has moved even closer, and with that pass, the points lead grows a little bit more.
Hey, every point counts, and Dixon knows that. You remember the year that he drew level with Juan Pablo Montoya at the last race? Dixon ended up winning the championship on a countback of preferred and higher prioritized positions. So every single point counts. And that move literally got him 1 point. And it has been a problematic season for Andretti Autosport. Up until yesterday, up until Rossi got that podium yesterday, they only had 1 podium across 5 cars. So Rossi got them their 2nd podium, and now they're going to go 1, 2, 3 in a lap and a half's time.
And I think one of the reasons to be encouraged is not just the result, is Dixon making another run on VK.
VK stepped out sideways a little bit, but the gap is just a little bit too big.
So I think, Paul, one of the reasons to be encouraged for Andretti is they've done this performance today on pure pace, and the way that Herta, Rossi, and Hunter Ray, the consistency over the tire stint as the white flag comes out, the way that Herta's been able to manage the reds. We haven't seen any big slides or big moments with 28 laps on the tires. That's really encouraging. With 3 more races to go, all of them road courses, 2 at Indy and 1 on the streets at St. Pete.
He's really done a masterful job today of maintaining the tire, maintaining the gap.
You're all good. Keep pushing hard.
And he's on the home stretch now.
When he was a youngster in go-karts, he was watching kids who were getting into cars. And he said to his dad, Brian, he said, "Dad, I'd like to get into cars." Brian said, "If you get straight A's at school, you can go into cars at a young age." He came back with straight A's. Brian kind of threatened that because he didn't think he was going to come home with straight A's. He did. So he's got into cars at a very young age. He became the youngest ever winner in IndyCar history a year ago at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. This guy is going to be around for a long, long time, and he's handled it. He's shown his maturity in this race in just his 2nd season in IndyCars. He's in the top 5 in the championship, and just like Will Power yesterday, Colton Herta is now a winner at Mid-Ohio.
That was sweet.
That was sweet.
Nice job, guys. And then Andretti 1, 2, 3.
Dixon got by on the last lap, so he made it happen. Sorry, guys, we missed that, but the action was up front there with Herta, but Dixon grabs another point.
So it has been a struggle, but it's been a very determined performance from Dixon to kind of garner and grab any point that he can, and it's going to be back-to-back top 10s for Scott Dixon. 10th yesterday, 10th today, but it's all about Andretti Autosport. Andretti Harding Steinbrenner Autosport as well for the winner.
15 years ago, Andretti Autosport did one better. They did a 1, 2, 3, 4 in St. Petersburg. 4th place was your dad, Brian Herta, but you led the field of Andretti cars in a 1, 2, 3 podium sweep. Colton, it's got to feel so good for you and so good for the team.
Yeah, I'm so happy. You know, we've been knocking on the door almost every week, and we've had the pace. Just for some reason or another, just this one thing has gone wrong, or this thing's gone wrong. But we finally put everything together. Got the pole this morning. Had a stellar car. Everybody at Capstone Turbines and then the entire crew gave me an incredible car. And a Honda Andretti 1, 2, 3. So happy to be powered by Honda too.
It was an exciting start. You and Santino Ferrucci side by side in the first corner. How did you see it from your perspective?
He was on the outside, and I got halfway in front of him, so it was my corner at that point. So I tried to leave him as much room as I could, but he just wanted to stick on the outside, so I had to push him off.
You know, we chatted before the race that the last time you qualified on pole at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, you converted it to a win. You did it again here today. So what do you say? Just 2 more poles at Indy GP and go from there?
That's right. Now we just need to be finishing on the podium every other weekend, because it seems like we're only on the podium when we win. So if we can fill in all those other spots with 2nd or 3rds, I'll be very happy, man.
Fair enough. There's a lot of very happy crew behind you. Go give them a high five. Congratulations to Colton Herta and Andretti Autosport.
Watch the IndyCar Harvest Grand Prix Race 1, Friday, October 2nd at 3:30 p.m. on USA.